We're live, baby.
We're
We're
back.
live, baby.
We're live. Welcome back, guys.
We're live, baby.
Episode 2 of the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. Today I'm here with the same old crew, Q and T Gods. Unfortunately, Dave couldn't make it this week. He's having some technical difficulties down where he's at right now. So it's just us three for today. We're going to be breaking down running backs and some fantasy news for you guys. Let's just kick it off, get right into it. Fantasy news. First piece of news is last week, George Kittle signed the largest contract for a tight end ever. Travis Kelce got his deal right after. Q, what are your thoughts on
It was
tight
bound to
ends?
happen. I hear stuff about Ertz. I don't like. I think he just signed the contract recently, though, didn't he? Like, there's no way he's gonna beat
Yeah, I
both
think
of
it was
their
like-
contracts.
I think his contract was actually like 2 or 3 years ago. So I think he's up, maybe not
Uh,
after this year, but after next year.
If anything, Goddard's
And
getting the
he
contract.
obviously at that point.
Goddard's getting.
Oh, that's spicy take. Spicy take. Fun fact, Jordan Reed also plays for the 49ers. Anyone know that? Relevant at all?
I didn't know that.
Well,
Yeah, definitely
I-
not relevant.
I think he will like barely cut into Kelsey's like production, like maybe like a
Kelsey.
Kelsey.
oh
Kelsey. Hold on. You had one too
Kittle.
many.
Kittle. I
Yeah.
think he'll be out there. They don't have any receiving options, I think, so he'll be definitely used. But
They did
I
just
mean,
sign
he'll get
somebody today. I don't remember who it was.
he'll get a concussion as soon as he puts his helmet on, so he's not gonna last long.
But in other news, heartwarming story, Alex Smith is back on the field. He had like 18 surgeries or something. Absolutely crazy. Do you guys think he's going to be any relevant for fantasy at all?
I don't think he'll be relevant at all. But I mean, he's a beast for coming back. He wasn't even supposed to walk again.
Yeah,
This man's back on the field.
that shit's crazy. But like I remember when I had him like before the injury, he was just like he's a game manager, so he's not scoring you many fantasy points. But him on one leg is definitely better than Haskins at all. But they still don't have many weapons, so
Yeah,
like, I still wouldn't draft or scoop him.
Yeah, I'm definitely not picking him up or anything, but I think the Redskins should at least, if he's healthy enough to go and play, I think he should start over Haskins. Just
Oh yeah.
let Haskins learn something from him. In other news, there's a new wide receiver on the Patriots. Damiere Byrd has been the most constantly flashing at practice. Aside from Edelman, is there a Patriots wide receiver that you would even want on your team?
Nikhil Harry.
Oof,
Nikhil Harry.
I don't
People
like
don't
that take.
know about him because he was hurt most of last year and wasn't doing much, but now he has. I think he'll be a lot better this year with Cam.
He's got a chance. He's got to get it together soon, though. Talks from training camp said Gil Harry has been struggling to
My
get
man's is
any
lagging
separation
so
at
bad.
all.
Lagging a little bit.
Any separation at all.
A little bit lag.
A little bit.
Struggling to get any separation. Can you guys hear me?
You're lagging a
Are
little
we
bit.
good?
You're lagging a lot of bit, bro.
Talk a little more.
Yeah.
No.
No, robot. Sean's a robot. I
I'm-
eat.
All right. Well, how do I
Y'all
sound?
hear me now?
No.
How do I sound?
You sound good.
All right. So I'll continue. Robot Sean will be back.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So next on the list, Des Bryant. There's reports of him working out the Ravens. I do not see him as. I mean, he'll make the team. I believe so because they also don't have many receivers outside of Hollywood Brown. But I don't think he's going to be much fantasy relevant. Do you find anything interesting out of this report?
Am I back?
Yes.
Hello?
I'm back.
Let's go.
Oh, you said yeah. You're good.
All right.
You're
All right.
good.
All right. All right. Cool. Anyways, Des
Team was on
Bryant.
my back for a second.
I think Des Bryant at most would be an end zone wide receiver target for the Ravens. They really, aside from Mark Andrews, don't have anybody that's going to go up and get it that you can throw like a fade to. I think Des Bryant could be that guy if they end up picking him up. Other than that, he's been in talks with the Cowboys, although a return is unlikely. I don't think he's got much value unless he comes back and like shows that he's got value. Like you just have to, I wanted to prove it first.
Fun fact about Dez, He's 6'2", which is not tall at all, because I'm like 6'8" on my money. But
Okay.
Dak is also
On my
6'2",
money.
and I just thought that a wide receiver would be at least 6'5".
Dez is nice though. Why are you hating on Dez? Dez
Yeah,
is
but
good.
a lot of the best corners are like 5'9", 5'10", so you still got some height over him.
Yeah, he's lucky that I'm not covering him.
Lastly,
Alright.
in some weird news, Peter King decided that he was going to be the Bucs offensive coordinator, and he's guessing that OJ Howard will lead the Bucs in snaps, and Gronk will be third among tight ends in snaps. How does that affect Gronk's value? Do you believe him at all, or is he just capping?
I think it might start like that, but I think by the end of the season, Brady gets Gronky back right where he wants him. He's gonna be his guy.
I think that Gronk let Peter King borrow some of his CTE, because there's no way in hell that Gronk is going to be third under Cameron Brate. He offers a lot more than Cameron Brate, and the quarterback is his best friend. There's no way that
It's not staying
number
like that.
three.
There's no
Yeah.
chance.
Yeah, I feel you. Cameron Brate's a good blocker, but other than that, like that's the only reason he's going to be on the field.
OJ is his only competition, I'd say.
All right, let's get into some injury updates. There was a bunch of injuries coming out the past few days. It's been crazy with training camp being back. Starting off, Q, your boy AJ Green tweaked his hamstring on Monday at camp. He hasn't been back at practice yet. Does that scare you a little bit about your guy? You were hyping him up on the Instagram page.
All I gotta say is Joe Burrow's stock is going down, baby.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it hurts Joe Burrow if AJ's not able to get on the field. And they also had second-round rookie wide receiver T. Higgins, where it looked like this could be an opportunity for him to step up, but then he also tweaked his hamstring. So I think John Ross is also on the COVID list. It looks like Tyler Boyd might be all alone again as the Bengals' sole wide receiving option.
Tasty.
I'll draft him.
Pick him up.
Definitely.
TJ Hawkinson says his ankle injury is still not 100%. If TJ Hawkinson's not 100% healthy still after it's been like a year at this point, is he still on your radar at all?
He
No,
was
I'll
never
take
on my radar.
I'll take Jesse James. He was solid with the Steelers. That's who their next up tight end is.
Yeah, he might be a bit of a Renzo target, but yeah, I think Hawkinson is just too risky at this point. He's kind of reminded me of Tyler Eifert early in his career. Can't stay on the field at all. So
That's sad.
Poor
yeah,
Eifert.
it sucks. Yeah. Another injury, Nick Chubb was in the concussion protocol and missed practice on Tuesday. How does this affect Nick Chubb? Are you still just taking him? You think a concussion is going to be gone by then?
He'll be fine.
I think
he's fine.
I think it's big, and there's already so much like hype behind Kareem Hunt being like a big, like a guy that's gonna take so many of his carries. So like, I think Kareem's gonna be the guy now.
Yeah, if Kareem shows flashes again like he was at the Chiefs, he could end up taking a lot of this backfield over. But I still think they want it to be a timeshare. If Nick Chubb's healthy, I think he's still going to get his carries. So other than that, DeAndre Hopkins missed 2 practices with a hamstring injury. That's something to monitor. But he's explicit that he's not holding out. It's just an injury. He returned to practice today, so I think he's good to be good to go. And the last injury news, Miles Sanders is now out week to week with a lower body injury. And Boston Scott's also day-to-day. So the Eagles' number 1 running back right now in training camp is Corey Clement. Corey Clement's going to be number 1 in training camp. But Eagles reporter Tim McManus and another reporter said Miles Sanders should be ready for week 1. Are you guys worried at all about this injury?
They always say they're going to be ready.
Right.
And they're never ready. I'm scared.
Give us Super Bowl Corey, and I don't care about the other 2.
Corey's nice. I like Corey.
Corey Clement could put up some numbers in offense if he's the only running back. I think he definitely.
He's not a workhorse, though. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think he would be getting much carries, but he's going to get passes right out of the backfield. Wentz is check down god, so you definitely hit him up. Other than that, let's get into the running backs. Let's start talking running backs. What is your guys' draft strategy heading into draft day for targeting running backs?
I don't think that a running back is needed first round, but I think in the first 4 rounds you need at least 2, whether it be the first and the third. But the other positions don't really matter, but you need at least 2 because of how like scarce running backs are in fantasy.
Yeah, for me, I mean, if I'm picking in those first 8 or 9, maybe even 10 picks, I think I'm taking a running back unless Michael Thomas is there after pick 6. Like those are Michael Thomas is probably the only wide receiver I'm really targeting in that first round, unless it's like pick 11 or 12, then I'll consider like DeAndre Hopkins and whatnot.
Yeah.
Depends on who's available, obviously, and what running backs have gone off the board. But for me, I think running back is almost like you need one in the first round, even if you're reaching a little bit. What are you guys' thoughts on back-to-back running backs? Would you do that as your strategy? Just go all in on running backs, make sure you get too early, and then see what wide receivers are left in the third?
I probably wouldn't, because most likely your wide receiver one is going to be like Keenan Allen or like Cooper Kupp, and I'm not very confident in them being a wide receiver one. I don't like it. I'd rather have an elite receiver, set it and forget it.
Personally, I do running back, wide receiver, running back. I don't know if that's actually what I do, but that's what I prefer to do. Because there's so many receivers that, I mean, yeah, you don't want Cooper Kupp as your wide receiver one, but you also don't want J.K. Dobbins as your running back two, waiting to like the fourth round or so. So I think I wouldn't go running back though. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not against it. I think it can work depending on what running backs you get, especially where you're picking. But if you're getting that number one running back, if you have like a set it and forget it guy, I think you got to get that wide receiver in that next round. All the wide receiver ones are going to be going in the second round. So by the third round, you're like T-God said, you're looking at Keenan Allen and whatnot. It's just not what I'm looking for.
It's not bad.
Definitely not. It's not bad, but it could be better.
Exactly. Yeah. I'd rather my RB2 be someone a little bit later than that. All right, let's get into our rankings. I think we all are unanimous at number one. It's pretty obvious. But does anyone have any differing opinions at number one?
It's not even like number one running back. It's like number one overall.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'd love to know like if someone is taking somebody else number one overall.
Yeah, I don't think it's viable. I think McCaffrey's season last year was absolutely insane to a point where you can't not take him at one. Even if he puts up like a few less touchdowns, maybe a couple hundred less yards, he's still going to be number one by a long shot. He had like 100 more points than any other running back last year. So
it's really crazy, bro.
It was an insane season. The only thing
average 22.
The only thing that worries me just a little bit about it is that he's got a new head coach, so it's going to be a whole new offense. You don't know if it's going to be the same. Get it to McCaffrey, but after you saw how successful it was last year, I think
it's hard not to give it to him.
I think Matt Rule is going to have an obvious decision on his hands: feed McCaffrey.
Definitely.
I don't think he's gonna. I think he'll regress like Mahomes did last year. I don't think he's gonna have 1K yards rushing and 1K receiving, but he's definitely, regardless, number one overall.
Yeah. After that, who do you guys have rounding out your top five and like top five running backs?
I mean, I think everybody's got Saquon at 2.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I feel like 3 is where it starts getting a little. I don't know.
Actually,
go ahead.
Zeke's ADP is number 2. I don't know who's. I wouldn't take him number 2. The argument could be made for Zeke. I think the argument can also be made for Dalvin Cook, if he was to stay healthy. But I think it is Saquon then Zeke.
Definitely, I got Kamara at 4. I mean, no. All right, that's fine. And I got Dalvin Cook at 5.
No, I got Kamara at 5. I got Dalvin Cook at 4, so I'm right there with you. I think we're splitting hairs here. I know Q isn't the biggest fan of Kamara. We'll get into his anger about that later.
Excuses.
But let's get into our biggest discrepancies, because I know who Q has in his top 5 there that me and T-Gods really aren't on the same boat with him. So Derrick Henry, I have as my 10th running back. So I know that's a little bit bold, but Q has him as his 4th. So I want to see
5th.
what Q's thoughts are there.
Cook's 4, Henry's 5. We made that switch. But,
okay, got it. Still top 5.
So Derrick Henry is an absolute unit. 1,500 yards last year and 16 touchdowns. Like the team is the complete same. Though they did sign Tannehill to like a large contract, I still don't think, just like Garoppolo, they don't trust him throwing the ball much, because I don't think either of them threw the ball much in the playoffs. When you have a guy like Derrick Henry in the backfield who's going to just run through everyone. His pass catching ability is lacking. Is it Deion Lewis that they have?
Yep.
But clearly that's like not showing any sort of like downfall to his value. Just think Derrick Henry's a lot better than Kamara. As you saw, Kamara last year, downfall, he regressed without Mark Ingram there. I don't care about the injury. That's all BS.
So you guys, what are your thoughts on Derrick Henry?
I think I would have him ranked higher if this was a standard league. It's not. We're in a PPR league. And my man's had 4 games with more than 1 catch. That scares me a little bit. I think that moves him down a couple spots. But he did have 18 touchdowns, and that's massive.
Yeah, getting into the touchdowns, the reason I have him at 10 is because he had 18 touchdowns last year, but his expected touchdowns were only 9 based on his opportunities, his goal line carries and whatnot. I'm going to keep bringing that up, so just be aware. But his expected touchdowns were only 9, so he finished with 18. He was getting some long runs and like breaking some insane plays that I don't think is super repeatable. So I think he ends up with more around 10 to 12 touchdowns rather than 18, and his passing game involvement's not really going to go up any. So I think that hurts his value a little bit. That's why I have him a little bit lower ranked than you guys for sure.
Please look at him and tell me why you think that it's going to go down.
His touchdowns, just because they were all, a lot of them were fluky last year. There was 50-yard run, 75-yard catch. Yeah, he is good, but I don't think those are repeatable. You can't bank on him getting all of these broken plays year after year.
2018 too. 2018 we started the 99-yard run.
Exactly like that. I know he's got some big plays and he's got some big playability, and he's going to have a couple of those, but I don't think he's going to have as many as he did last year. All right, moving on to Aaron Jones. I had Aaron Jones ranked at 11 outside of my top 10. Q's got him at 6, almost in his top 5 there, and T guys has him at 12. Right now he's being drafted at RB9, so Q's a little bit higher on him. Me and T guys are a little bit lower on him. Q, what are your thoughts? Why do you think Aaron Jones is also going to be good this year?
I'm trying not to be biased because he was on my team last year, but there were a couple games where he was very disappointing where I needed to win, and Jamal Williams sucked the soul out of my team. Over 1,000 rushing yards.
Are you defending him or hating on him?
No, I can't be too biased, but 1,000 rushing yards, 19 touchdowns. I can see that going down because they have the Saquon Jr. in the Packers jersey on the AJ Dillon now. So I think he'll like cut into him and Jamal Williams production. I don't know what AJ Dillon's known for doing. Most are predicting Jones to be a bust, which I don't understand why. When he did well in 2018, so towards the end, and then all of 2019 he finished number 2 in scoring. I think he will see a little dip, but I think he's one of Rodgers' favorite targets, as he said before. So yeah, I just think number 6. Do I think he's going to finish top 5 again? Probably not, but 6 or 7, I believe that he'll still be there.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from, but I'm still kind of in the same boat as Henry, where he had some crazy touchdowns too that he shouldn't have got. His expected touchdowns were a little bit higher; they were like almost 11, but he ended up with 19 touchdowns. Again, just like a crazy number of touchdowns. We've seen it happen before with Gurley having 21, and then last year, what happened to Gurley? His touchdowns went way down. Now he had a little bit of an injury, but you know what I mean. A lot of guys end up regressing. I think he falls back down to earth around 10 to 12. I still think he's going to be a low end RB1. But AJ Dillon has looked really good in camp. I mean, the picture of him going around the internet right now is disgusting. His legs are huge. I think he's going to be a beast. Jamal Williams is still going to be involved a little bit, taking away some snaps. So that's the only thing that scares me a little bit on him.
My workout plan must have been leaked.
God.
Do you guys any reason why you got Aaron Jones down at 12?
Well, 8 games, he had 50 or fewer yards. That scares me. That just tells me that he's touchdown dependent.
No, he's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Jamal Williams, he's going to be catching the ball. He can't rush more than 50 yards. So, I mean, plus they add AJ Dillon. I'm scared. I don't like it. Not a risk I want to take.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think he's more of a low-end RB1 than a solid RB1 again this year.
I think running backs will play a big role in the Packers just because they haven't gotten any extra talent on the outside for Aaron Rodgers to throw to. So I think they'll all have some sort of value in fantasy.
I agree with you. I think they're definitely going to have to rely on the run game, and it's kind of what they did last year, and I think they're going to try and do that again, especially with Aaron Rodgers getting older. And they didn't add any pieces, but you never know. I still think Aaron Jones, I think it's still going to be more of a timeshare. All right, moving on to the next one, Joe Mixon. I loved some Joe Mixon this year. I got him at RB7. T-Gods has him all the way down at 14. Q's stuck in the middle here at 10. So
I'm just
I
here
guess
to watch this time.
I guess I'll let T-God start off on why he absolutely despises Joe Mixon.
Okay, so Joe Mixon. Last year, my man's had 4 games with 100+ yards. 3 of them were in the last 4 weeks. He also only had 5 rushing touchdowns, and 3 of them were in the last 4 weeks. So the first 12 games, he averaged 53 rushing yards. Thank you for the sign, Q. Your bed looks great. On 15 carries per game, 53 rushing yards he averaged. I mean, I will give him credit. He had some crazy, like, receiving statistics. My man's had 8 receiving touchdowns. I don't know if he does that again this season, but I just think that whole offense is young and messy, and there's injuries, and I just doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah, I mean, I love Joe Mixon this year. I think he's going to bounce back. And he started off a little bit slow, like you said. You did say the last 4 games, it kind of went off. But if you actually look at the last 9 games, he was averaging 18 points per game. And that put him, if you stretch that out among a whole season, that puts him at RB7 and then RB8 on a points per game basis. That's a top 10 running back right there. That's why I got him at RB7. I think he's going to
But he
have
didn't
a
do
huge
it all
season.
season.
He did it for
This-
9 games last season.
That's
New head
not all
coach last
season.
year. New head coach last year. Started off slow, started off rocky. Now they got a new quarterback coming in that's a lot better than the quarterback they had last year.
Well, let's
And then-
not throw shade at Andy yet.
Well, Andy also got benched, so I mean, can't defend him too much. But Joe Burrow is going to help open up that offense, and I think Joe Mixon had 8 touchdowns total last year, but he was expected to have 11. He's still the only running back in this offense in general. There's Gio Bernard behind him, but he barely plays any snaps unless Mixon goes down. Mixon's going to be a true workhorse on a team that's going to be a little bit better this year as long as AJ and T. Higgins end up getting back on the field. I think that opens up the offense a little bit, helps Mixon not go against so many stacked boxes. I think Mixon has to be top 10 this year at least.
Has to be, huh?
Has to be. No
Better
competition.
quarterback, better play.
Yeah, Joe Burrow is definitely going to help open up that offense a little bit. All right, moving on to someone Q really does not like, Clyde Edwards.
Take that sweatshirt off because it's about to get very hot.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Q, I'll let you go. You can do your hot take of the week. Hot take of the week here.
Now, I don't know much about this guy. I did have to do some research, but I remember when I originally did my rankings, he was like 15, 16, so I thought 15 was about right. But now many people have him top 10. You guys have him top 6, which is unreal. I'm definitely not on this Hilaire hype. No, he's rookie. There's no OTAs, no preseason, which we talked about last episode with the quarterbacks. So I just don't think there's like it's going to be pretty hard, or it's going to take a little longer to produce some chemistry between him and Mahomes, or him and the offense in general. I mean, I'm not going to give him much hate. I think that he will finish in the top 10, 12. With this high scoring offense, he's like bound to score points and get yards just like Kareem Hunt did. But there's just too many guys that are already proven stars in fantasy that are going to get you points, while him, on the other hand, is just, I don't know yet.
Yeah, I mean, I see where you're coming from. I can understand what you're saying, but I just can't see him not being at least top 10 this year, no doubt. Like on this offense, as a first-round rookie running back, we saw what he could do at LSU with Joe Burrow. He's now got Patrick Mahomes, an even better quarterback. He's in the best offense in football. He's going to put up big numbers. I mean, last year he also caught 55 passes at LSU. He's going to be a pass catcher for sure. Mahomes is going to dish it out to him. I think he's just going to be huge for PPR value. Like I've seen some guys going as crazy as taking him at number 1. So it's
anything.
It's been the reports out of camp have already been good. I know there's not going to be a preseason, but the reports out of camp are saying he's been playing out of his mind. And Andy Reid's always been that one guy to have one running back usually get the bulk of the work. So I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is already that guy. There's really no competition. He's going to put up numbers. That's why I got him at 6.
Kareem Hunt did finish 6th in 2018. Was that the year that he got in trouble, or was that the next year?
I think that was the following season.
I'm assuming if he finished 6th, he had to have finished the season. But I guess I'll have some hope for Hilaire Kareem Hunt was able to finish sixth in the same rookie year.
Yep, exactly. Do you guys have any more thoughts to add? I covered it on CEH.
I think you guys got it. Big Red.
Big Red, baby. All right, moving on. Jonathan Taylor, rookie running back for the Colts. Me and T guys got him at 22, almost probably like a low end RB2. Q's got him at 27, looking more like a flex option. Q, what are your thoughts on Jonathan Taylor?
So I did read a little more about him, just like Hilaire. I do feel a little better about him also, but he has the best offensive line in football, arguably. Maybe the Eagles when healthy, but Marlon Mack last year, he did have 1,000 yards rushing. It's hard, and 8 touchdowns, so it's hard to just forget about him. And then they have Hines also, who was a pretty good pass catcher out of the backfield. So when you already have two solid running backs, obviously Jonathan Taylor is probably going to be the workhorse back, but you can't just forget about Marlon Mack and Hines, as that they probably haven't shown any sort of regression. But yeah, I need to see a little more. I want to see a couple weeks before I think he's anything more than what you guys are ranking him at.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I have him a little bit higher than you is he's ran for roughly 2,000 yards every year at Wisconsin. He was absolutely nuts there. He put up some insane numbers. He also got involved in the passing game the last season. He had like 26 catches after not really being involved the first 2 years. So he started evolving his game. If he can get involved in the passing game with the Colts, he could definitely be pushing RB1 upside. But if he's even as just strictly a runner, I think if he has a few breakout games early in the year, he starts looking like he's going to take over this backfield. I think he's going to run away with it, and Marlon Mack's going to end up being more of a backup rather than a timeshare.
Yeah, from what you're saying, it sounds like he's about to replace both of them.
Yeah, I mean,
definitely could.
Yeah,
100% could.
Exactly. I mean, you never know with a rookie. He could start off slow. Marlon Mack shows that he's the proven veteran, puts up numbers. But I think Jonathan Taylor, like his talent is just too strong. If you watch his Wisconsin highlights, you'll be blown away.
Wisconsin makes some good running backs. Didn't they have? Oh, Stanford had McCaffrey. All right.
I think they do have some good running backs, though. Moving on, the last one we'll talk about with the discrepancies here, Matt Breida. Q's pretty high on Matt Breida this year. He's got him at 28. Me and T-Gods have him more around his ADP. T-Gods has him at 36. I got him at 38. He's being drafted right now as the 39th running back off the board. Q, why are you so much higher than the average here?
I think if he can stay healthy, that's big if. I think that he's a lot better than Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard, I don't think he's a 3-down back because he's just a straight. I mean, we saw last year in Philly. His best game, I think, was against the Packers, which I guess because he knows them best because he's on the Bears. Jordan Howard with 2 1,000-yard seasons, 16-17, but he seems to be being replaced by guys who can catch or little speed guys like Cohen, Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, Sproles. So I just don't think that he's going to be the starter, putting Breida way above him.
Yeah, I'm with you a little bit on what you're saying about Matt Breida. I believe in his talent. I think the guy can be someone that could take over a backfield. The only thing that scares me, like you said, is his health.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I can't rank him any higher than I have him, just because he can't stay on the field. He's consistently in and out of games. He's banged up week after week, ankle injury, knee injury, whatever.
Where do you
always
have Howard?
I have Jordan Howard roughly around 30. I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
I think Jordan Howard is still going to be their goal line guy. I think he's going to be the touchdown getter. He's still going to be the early down back, first and second down. Matt Breida will be mixed in, and if Matt Breida gets hot, he'll take over the backfield. But like I said, Matt Breida doesn't stay healthy. If he goes down, it's pretty much all Jordan Howard show. So
yeah, and they're going to be losing most likely every week.
Well, it was announced today that Fitzpatrick is the starter week 1, so I don't know if that makes any difference.
So yeah, they'll probably be losing most weeks.
It's magic, baby.
Fitz magic. You never know. He's going to get them at least 2 to 3 wins.
At the beginning, at least.
Yeah, you never know. That's insane. All right, let's start talking about old running backs. Are any of these guys still pushing for RB1 numbers, or are they all strictly RB2s here? We're talking about Le'Veon Bell, David Johnson, Todd Gurley, Melvin Gordon. They're all being drafted around the same area. Mark Ingram as well. They're all kind of in that same bubble. But what guys do you think could have the potential to break out and have that RB1 season again and return to glory?
Out of those guys, I'll probably say David Johnson. One of these days, a post will come out about him being a sleeper, but obviously since 2017 he hasn't been the same, and last year even then he was still dealing with the same ankle injury, which allowed Drake to shine. Um, 5 out of 6 games though last year when he was playing, he did score 12 or more points. That's not the best for a running back, but I'd say it's solid RB2 numbers maybe. I think it'll be one of Watson's favorite targets because he can run and he can catch, so that could like make Duke Johnson an afterthought. And he recently made a statement that he's going to run and catch or have 1,000 rushing yards, 1,000 receiving yards, which gives me some confidence in drafting him because he has some confidence in himself. So I think he has some high RB2 upside.
I believed him that season when he said he was going to do that too.
Well, he said it again this year.
I don't know if I believe again.
Yeah, let's move on to Le'Veon Bell. To you guys, I think you're the one who thinks he can get back to that glory. Let's hear it.
I do. He averaged a little over 20 touches a game. So I mean, he's got decent volume. He only had 4 total touchdowns. That scares me, but I think that number goes up a little bit this year. I mean, it has to. It can't really go down. They signed 3 new linemen, and they also drafted an O lineman in the first round. So I think that, they get a little chemistry together. Their center, Connor McGovern, I don't know who that is, but I mean, he said that the offensive line was bonding by playing some Warzone. So I mean,
hey, that's ultimate bonding.
that is, I don't know how else you can bond better than that.
They might go 6-0.
Give me some Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I think he could get back to some glory. But the guy I'm taking to bounce back this year and put up some RB1 numbers would have to be Todd Gurley. Only 2 seasons ago, Todd Gurley had 21 touchdowns. Last season, after went a little bit slower than most expected, but he did have that knee arthritis. He had a lot of issues towards the end of last season. But if he can stay healthy, which he did play 15 games last year, he's on a new offense where I think he's going to be used even more than he was on the Rams. The Rams were down a lot last year in that Super Bowl hangover, which ends up hurting them a little bit. But I think Todd Gurley, being on this Falcons offense, he's going to put up some big numbers, as more like Devontae Freeman a few years ago, where he was putting up some huge numbers in this offense. I think he can do it. He did have a down season in the receiving department too. He only had 31 catches last year in 15 games. That's not a lot. I think this year he can get back over to 50 like he had 60 just in 2018. I think he can get back to glory easily. Right now he's being drafted as RB15. I think if you take him there, you're getting some value. I think he could bounce back and be an RB1.
Good.
And before we move on, I did want to talk about Melvin Gordon a little bit too. You can also make the case for him to bounce back. His ADP is right now is RB20, but last year, he was averaging 16.1 points per game from week 9 on once he got his legs back under him after holding out. I think Melvin Gordon can have a huge last year. Last year that could have been RB12 on 16 points per game on a points per game basis. If you're thinking about taking Melvin Gordon, I think he's still got RB1 upside. The only thing that limits him a little bit is Philip Lindsay, but Philip Lindsay doesn't catch any passes. He's got stone hands. So I think
Don't hate on my undrafted man.
Stone hands.
He can run the ball. He can definitely get in between the tackles, but his hands are made of stone. He can't catch any passes, and Melvin Gordon has a history of catching passes. He had 42 catches last year in just 12 games. I think if he can get over 40 catches again this year, 50 catches, he could have that RB1 upside. The other old running back we were talking about here is Mark Ingram. You guys taking Mark Ingram as an RB2 or more of a flex option? What do you guys think?
Every year, people say that he might not be that good this year, but he's just always there, and he's always good. He's always solid for some reason. Every year, someone doubts him.
Yeah. I was definitely sleeping on him last year, and then he just broke off. The Ravens are a run-first team, so I think he will have plenty of carries to be an RB2. But with rookie J.K. Dobbins, I just think that he goes down a little bit. So I can see why people would think that he's a flex, if best.
I wouldn't hate him as my RB2, but I definitely wouldn't love it.
Not ideal.
Yeah, I wouldn't be comfortable. J.K. Dobbins was insane at college as well, kind of similar to Jonathan Taylor. He put up some big numbers. A lot of people actually expected him to get drafted a little bit earlier. I know Schultz is pretty high on J.K. Dobbins. But, I mean, Mark Ingram was RB11 last year. I don't think you can, discount that He was an RB1 last year. He still has that upside. But yeah, I'm definitely taking him more as an RB2.
Yep.
And let's talk about the fossil himself, Adrian Peterson. It's pretty much his it's pretty much his backfield at this point. Do you guys think he's relevant at all?
No.
I think he will be, just like Hilaire, he has rookies behind him, so they don't have as much experience as he does. And I don't think he was too bad last year.
Yeah, he was all right last year. I think he could get like close to 1,000 yards. That's really his goal this year. He's been pretty explicit about that. He's like 1,000 yards behind Barry Sanders. So if the Redskins are giving into him being a legend and just let him get the carries, I think he can put up some numbers.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's really not anyone in that backfield I'm touching. All right, let's move into running back value. And question inspired from Joey Schultz on Instagram last week. He asked, based on value, who would you rather have, Nick Chubb at his current ADP or Kareem Hunt at his current ADP? We're going to go through a couple backfields with this and give our thoughts. We'll start with that one. Q, you can start us off. Would you rather have Nick Chubb at his current ADP of 15th overall, running back 8, or Kareem Hunt at his ADP of 69th overall, which is round 6 as running back 26?
So before the news came out about Chubb's concussion, I would say this is like a no doubt, like go Chubb. But now with this injury and like Hunt definitely having some RB1, like he has RB1
potential,
talent potential, whatever. I think you definitely have to go Hunt, which will lead me into the next set of running backs. I just think I'd go definitely Hunt over Chubb, just because of the concussion issue. But if he finds out, Hunt over Chubb, there's definitely like equal or a little less value than Chubb, but Hunt.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Kareem Hunt, I mean, at his where he's being drafted is definitely makes a lot of sense. I think Nick Chubb's being overdrafted. When Kareem Hunt was on the field last year, I said this last episode, Nick Chubb was RB23 and Kareem Hunt was RB24. So it's pretty much a full timeshare at this point. Kareem Hunt at his value makes sense. Nick Chubb's being overdrafted. So that's why I'm taking Kareem Hunt at his value for sure.
Definitely. Agreed.
All right, on to the next one. Jonathan Taylor, Marlon Mack. I know we touched on it a little bit. Let's see, who would you rather take at their current ADP? Jonathan Taylor's being taken in the 6th round as the 23rd running back. Marlon Mack's being taken in round 11 as RB42. Which one are you going to get more value out of where you're picking them?
I think Marlon Mack in the 11th.
Yeah,
a 1,000-yard rusher the year before, and he's getting drafted in the 11th. That's kind of insane. Taylor could just take over. Could be the Taylor show down there.
What did you say was Hunt's ADP and Mack's ADP?
Hunt's ADP is round 6. Jonathan Taylor is actually being drafted ahead of Kareem Hunt in round 6.
So I'm taking Mack over Taylor with value, and I'm taking Hunt over Taylor also.
Yeah, I can't really disagree too much, but I think Jonathan Taylor just has a lot of upside. If he has 1 or 2 breakout games, that backfield becomes his. Marlon Mack becomes irrelevant. Jonathan Taylor could end up looking like Zeke his rookie year, Saquon his rookie year. He's got that talent. It's just a matter of can he put it on an NFL field, and that's what we got to see. So that's why he's a little bit risky, but yeah, I still would take Marlon Mack's value in round 11, 1,000-yard rusher. He's going to put up numbers. All right, next one. Devin Singletary is being drafted in round 5 as RB22, and his backup, Zach Moss, is being drafted in round 10, another rookie. Who would you rather have based on their ADP?
Bro, I hate Bills running backs. I hate both of them.
That's why I didn't say anything, because I wanted someone else to talk, because I really don't like either of them, and I'm not interested in either.
I know Dave is high on Singletary. That's why he's not here today, because he's he might be recovering from some overdose saying that shit. But after doing some research on Moss, I saw that he's bigger than Singletary. I think that'll give him more purpose in the backfield. And he was very good at the combine in college with yards after the catch and missed tackles. I know that Singletary is also a small guy, so he could have the pass catching shit. But I'm taking Moss. I hate them both, though.
I'd rather take a chance on Moss, too. Just because why not?
Yeah, at their ADP, I think Moss makes the most sense just because he's being drafted so much later. But I think Singletary does have some solid value. The Bills are a run-first team. They're going to be a run-first team. They did add Stephon Diggs to help open up their pass game. But Sean McDermott is a defensive guy. He wants to play good defense and then run the ball, kind of similar to a lot of like that old school football mentality. So that's why Singletary is still being drafted that pretty high. He's also got some PPR value, catches a lot of passes out of the backfield. So Singletary still got value, but I still think he's being a little overdrafted. I think Zach Moss is definitely the better take there.
Yeah.
Finally, let's get in the last one. Melvin Gordon, 43rd overall. He's being drafted in round 4. Philip Lindsay's being drafted in round 8, 95th overall. Who do you think's got better value there?
Melvin Gordon for sure.
Yeah, Gordon.
Yeah, I'm taking Gordon too. I think Lindsay's still going to be mixed in here and there just because Vic Fangio can't decide. I mean, we saw that last year. Philip Lindsay and Royce Freeman, every other game, one of them would have a good game and the other one would have a bad game. So
yeah,
they
Mel
really
has running back 1 potential in the 4th
Right.
round. I'll take a chance on that, 100%.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm taking Melv, no doubt.
Let's just say that you're losing hope on your boy Royce. Like it's gonna be three-headed backfield.
Yeah,
So
we
I'd rather
can't
take-
forget about Royce Freeman.
I'm taking the guy has the RB1 potential, which is Melvin Gordon.
I hear you. I loved Royce Freeman last year. I was pounding the drum for him every week. I was like, just give him the ball. He was more productive. He had better yards per carry. But Vic Fangio just couldn't make up his mind. He was just like, I think this week's going to be Philip Lindsay. So
He's Mr. Irrelevant now.
But I think Melvin Gordon's their guy now. Vic Fangio has to open his eyes and realize, look, I got a solid running back here. He's going to put up numbers. All right, we got a new segment coming at you guys this week. Cap or no cap. Pretty much we're going to go through some news that's been coming out from training camp. And whatever ones we think are believable, we're going to say no cap. If we think they're lying, we're going to say cap. So let's just start it off. Some hot takes here. Q, I mentioned this earlier, but Peter Schrager says he would take Clyde Edwards-Helaire #1 in fantasy based on what he's hearing in camp. Is that cap or no cap?
He seems like somebody that would do that. So I'm saying no cap, all brim.
Oh no.
But he'd be very dumb to do that and pick him #1 overall. Like, what is he thinking?
Yeah, I think he's capping a little bit. I think he's just trying to stir the pot a little bit here. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire could end up at the end of the season being top 5, #1. That's pushing it a lot. I mean, he's got upside, but that's insane. So I think that's a little too much. All right, cap or no cap? DeAndre Swift, the offensive coordinator, said it remains to be seen how he will be used in the offense.
That's cap. Because I saw something today that was talking about how good he was in the pass catching game. So obviously there's what he's going to be. That's what he's going to be used for, pass catching. And maybe he'll transition over to the 3-down back. But I think with carry on there, it's because it's not going to be that early.
Yeah, and
So
there's talks of him having a real good relationship with Stafford too. I think that's going to end up being his guy by the end of the year.
Yeah, I think it's a little cap too. I mean, coming directly from the OC, that's a little strange to hear from him, but I still think DeAndre Swift's talent's going to be too much. And Kerryon Johnson was seen in a knee brace, so they added Jonathan Williams. It pretty much looks like it could just be the DeAndre Swift show. So I think he's
Sorry,
I think he's
Gator's
capping.
guy. That's
I think he's
Gator's
capping.
guy.
It is Gator's guy. He was loving some Kerryon Johnson last year.
And now he's wearing a knee brace like Gator.
Yep.
All right, on to the next one. Cardinals head coach Cliff Kingsbury feels like Chase Edmonds is a starting running back in this league. Is he capping or is that no cap?
Man, he's got some type of cap on him. Cap.
Why do you feel like
Drake's
it's
the
cap?
guy. Drake's the guy. Chase Edmonds, I don't know how long he's been in the league, but I always hear that name. He's just like a vulture. A vulture for fantasy, but he's never been relevant.
I feel like, personally for me, I feel like this one might be a little bit no cap. I think Chase Edmonds has a lot of talent. He showed some flashes last year once they kind of benched David Johnson. He was a little banged up. He just looked slow last year. When Chase Edmonds came in and started getting the work before Kenyon Drake got there, he put up a couple big games. I think
He
Chase
also
Edmonds
threw up in one of the games. Sorry, just to get that out there.
He did do that, but I do think he has some potential. I just don't know if it's going to be on this team. I think Kenyon Drake's still going to be the guy. So I think he's capping a little bit.
Last year against the Giants, he did have one game where he had 27 carries for 126 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Ew.
He exploded last year in one game, but then next week he kind of slowed down.
And then 3 weeks later, he had 1 attempt for -1 yard. So I don't want to hear shit. That's cap.
Ooh.
Yeah, the Giants defense is pretty fantasy friendly for running backs. On to the next one. Doug Peterson said Miles Sanders is going to be the guy in the Eagles' backfield. Is that cap or no cap?
That was no, but I
Ho-
think after the injury, I don't know anymore. I don't
No,
know.
I hope it's no cap because I want to see one workhorse back, but I haven't seen it with Doug Peterson, and now with the injury, yeah, I also am losing hope in that being a
Yeah, I
true
think
statement.
he definitely would have been the guy. I think, but I don't know now. Gotta wait and
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, I think he's capping a little bit. Doug Peterson loves to mix in running backs and mix in formations. I think Miles Sanders is still going to get the most work out of all of them, but I think Boston Scott's going to be involved. Corey Clement's going to be involved. He's now running with the first team. So it makes me a little bit more nervous on Miles Sanders moving forward. The next one here we have Zach Kiefer from The Athletic says he wouldn't be surprised if Jonathan Taylor takes the starting job after a few breakout games. Cap or no cap?
No cap.
Okay.
That's believable. As
Yeah.
we said, like he could do both what Marlon Mack and Hines can do. So I think if he has a couple good games in the beginning, he'll definitely take both of their jobs.
Yeah, I think that's no cap. I mean, if Jonathan Taylor breaks out, he's going to obviously take over that job. So, I mean, it was a pretty obvious statement. All right, moving on to the next one. Packers GM compared A.J. Dillon to Eddie Lacy. Now, I don't even know if we should say cap or no cap. Is this a
Cheeseburger
good thing
Eddie.
or an insult? Like, I feel
Let-
like that.
Let
Go
me
ahead,
just
Q.
say that this man was so fat that he was getting paid to lose weight, and he still, I think he did it, but then he sucked. So that's a big insult.
Yeah, if I'm A.J. Dillon, I'm a little bit insulted. The GM of my team is saying I look like Eddie Lacy. I mean, maybe if you're saying if he came out and said young Eddie Lacy his first couple years where
Right.
he was balling out, but Eddie Lacy nowadays sounds like an insult.
I will say that there's only a difference between 1 inch between them and 6 pounds. So I mean, they're
But yeah, I mean, I don't get me wrong. I think the comparison is a little bit fair, but I think A.J. Dillon looks a lot more in shape than Eddie Lacy did.
oh for sure, definitely.
Do you think A.J. Dillon would be a legit threat to Aaron Jones this year? I know we talked about it a little bit, but like, do you think he could take over this backfield at some point?
I think he's more of a threat to Jamal Williams, just because he's the second running back. So
That's
I'm
fair.
not going straight. You can't go straight for the dome and get Aaron Jones off.
He was a second round running back, so they drafted him for a reason. But yeah, I agree with you. I think he'd be more still the backup, still the mixing guy.
He's definitely
And
going to be used. He's definitely going to be involved in that offense.
the only reason I don't think he's as legit of a threat is because he really doesn't catch any passes. He didn't catch many at college, so I think it's pretty much still going to be the Aaron Jones show.
Oh yeah.
All right, the next one here we have is Niners beat writer Matt, I don't know how to say his last name, Mayoko, said Jerick McKinnon gives the 49ers an element it has not enjoyed in recent years. Cap or no cap?
I think that's cap because they got carried by the run game last year, so I don't know what they're talking about.
Also, Jerick McKinnon said the other day that he works every day as if he's broke, but I guess he enjoys being broke because that man is just broken.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That man, injury every year, and you hear about him week one, then you don't hear about him till the off season, I guess.
Yeah. He hasn't been relevant since he was on the Vikings. He put up some decent numbers there. He went to the Niners, got some hype, but yeah, he's just always injured. I don't think he gives them any extra element that they haven't had. I think he would be similar to what Matt Breida was for them last year. If anything, I don't think it's a new element by any means. I think he's capping heavy.
They're cap a lot.
Exactly. All right. Second to last one here. Rich Cimini reports that the Jets' offensive plan is to lessen Le'Veon Bell's workload by utilizing Frank Gore. Is he capping or is that no
The
cap?
biggest cap ever.
Cap.
Frank Gore is 37. He's
I'm gonna
old
s-
as dirt.
I'm going to take the opposite side here and say that's no cap. I don't care where Frank Gore goes. Frank Gore gets involved in every offense and pisses off fantasy owners, dude. I get mad every year. Last year with Devin Singletary, I think, and years past, you've seen him on the Dolphins where he just gets carries and it's like, why is this guy even touching the ball? He's a fossil.
He was like Sproles, pretty much, just a little better. But I hate that I want to say cap, but it probably is no cap. Like Gore will be getting his carries.
Gore's going to get some work. They just respect him as a legend everywhere he goes. He's still getting jobs somehow. So I think he's going to be involved. I still think it doesn't really affect Le'Veon Bell's value too much, though. I think if Gore's getting any touches, it's going to be like maybe 5 to 6 carries a game. Le'Veon Bell is going to get the rest of the workload. All right, and finally, second-year running back Damian Harris has been getting a heavy workload early in camp for the Patriots, and he continued to look good on Tuesday. Is he relevant at all? Is this cap? No cap.
Where was he last year?
He's a second-year running back. He was on the Patriots last year as a rookie.
Oh, okay. Okay. No, cap. There's like 10 guys that are in the backfield.
Yeah,
10 guys that are better than him.
I don't know what's going on down there. Up there.
Yeah, I think this is cap. I mean, they did just sign Lamar Miller, and he hasn't really gotten involved yet. So I don't think they've seen everything that they have. Sony Michel is still banged up, though. He's not practicing. So obviously, Damian Harris is going to be getting more work than usual. He could end up being the guy. Bill Belichick likes to close his eyes and say, all right, you're starting this week, and then give that guy the ball. So it doesn't make any sense to me.
Hey, it could be him. I mean, like a free-for-all down there. Up there.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick did say today that he was going to use more than one quarterback in plays in games.
Interesting.
Plays games, but either way, Cam's fucked.
Yeah, that's weird. That's definitely weird. I didn't see that.
Jared Stidham.
All right, that's pretty much all we had in terms of talking about running backs. Let's move into the questions here. We did have some questions submitted on Instagram. I'll let Q handle this first one. At Pretty Bull L, Elliot Waring on Instagram asked, is Alvin Kamara due for a bounce back year?
And the answer is no. I think that he will be better than he was last year. I mean, I don't like his excuse saying he was playing at 75% because at 75% you can still be pretty good. But I think the loss of Mark Ingram the year before has definitely taken a toll on him. I can't see him being top 7. I don't like him.
Yeah, I'm definitely disagreeing with you. This is a bounce back year for Alvin Kamara. He's going to put up numbers in this offense. He's still going to be insanely relevant in the pass game. He's still going to be the only running back they have. He's going to put up numbers.
Agree.
Top five.
Taysom Hill, Taysom Hill is just getting better every year. I hate
my
that,
God.
man. But they just use him more and more each season.
Taysom Hill, the Swiss Army knife. Yeah, get him out of here.
Fuck.
All right. And Elliot also asked another question. Is Mark Ingram more of a flex or is he more of an RB2? What do you guys think? I mean, we touched on it a little bit, but
yeah, I mean,
RB2.
I think I feel
Straddle on that
better.
line.
I feel better if he's my flex, but he can be your running back too, I guess.
What
Super
position
duper low end.
What position do you prefer in your flex?
I prefer a receiver, but I mean, we're in PPR. It's not always. I mean,
Yeah. I think he's an RB2. But if he was a flex, you just better have some like crazy good options at RB2.
right.
yeah, I'm with you there. I think I'm more comfortable with him as a flex, but he still has that RB2 upside. I think he still could put up some big numbers. He even has RB1 upside if J.K. Dobbins ends up being irrelevant. So, all right, on to the next question here. At Phil Bassetti asked, better for PPR, Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Austin Eckler?
Ecky.
Like flipping a coin.
Tyrod Taylor is not going to be throwing the ball. I mean, he has good options, but I think he's an old man, and Eckler's a solid pass-catching running back. I'll take him, the more trustworthy running back over the rookie Helaire.
I'm taking Helaire. I mean,
I'll take the chance.
Yeah, I'm taking the chance on Helaire. I love Eckler. I mean, I had him a couple of seasons ago on my team. He puts up some numbers. He's definitely an insane receiver in general. He could be a slot receiver if he wanted to be. He's just probably not big enough. But other than that, I just think Clyde Edwards-Helaire's upside is too much to take Eckler over. I think Eckler is definitely safe, though.
Both will finish top 10, I think.
I agree. All right, and the last question we had here, at Connor Quinn asks that he is picking 8th in his draft. Are you taking Michael Thomas if he's available, or are you taking a running back like Mixon, Helaire, or Miles Sanders?
I think it's obvious you have to take MT. Michael Thomas is
good.
He's the guy, and I hate him. I would take Julio over him.
What?
We'll save that for next week.
Okay, buddy.
I think he's gonna get you the most points. He's the safest, and yeah, he's the guy. You take MT.
I think I'm with you there. I think I'm taking Michael Thomas, no doubt, in that situation. If you're picking at 8, and a lot of the top running backs went like Dalvin Cook and whatnot, and Michael Thomas is sitting there, and you're looking at Joe Mixon or Michael Thomas, I'm taking Michael Thomas all day. He's just consistent, and you'll be able to get somebody like Miles Sanders or somebody like
Josh Jacobs.
Josh
Maybe
Jacobs,
little Kenyon.
How
Kenyon
about
Drake.
this?
You can get one of them on the turn, especially
if-
picking at 8.
What if you're at 8? Michael Thomas is taken. Which one are you taking? Hilaire, I guess.
Yeah,
Or you
if
guys?
if a layer's there, I'd definitely take a layer there for sure.
100%.
At 8, like I got him at RB6, which means I got him as my 7th overall player. I think I'm taking him there for sure. And I'd probably even take Mixon there too over like DeAndre Hopkins and whatnot.
Oh my God.
The Mixon lover here, myself, I would just take that safe running back. Michael Thomas is really the only wide receiver that I'm targeting before pick 10. Other than that, I'm taking a running back with one of those first 9 picks.
Agreed.
All right. Any other questions? I know we're live here, Twitch chat. You guys can mix in here. I want to get some questions from the audience. Let's see if you guys got anything.
Gators questions. I hate his questions. He's like, give me your honest opinion. Well, next week, if you ask that, I'm just going to give a very false, bad opinion. He wants his opinion on Josh Jacobs. So let's pretend Gators. Let's pretend Gators said Josh Jacobs. Do you think he's going to finish top 10? Do you think Josh Jacobs will finish top 10?
I definitely think he's got the upside too. I think I have him as like 11, so like right outside.
Yeah. I have him 11.
Yeah, he could easily finish up there. I'm getting a lot of hate in the chat here for this Mixon comment here, but I love me some Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon's going to put up numbers this year. He's the only running back there. Joe Burrow, that offense is going to be so much better, and it's a second-year offense, second-year head coach. Everyone's going to be more used to it. Mixon's going to put up numbers.
Matt had a nice question, but I can't answer it on here.
All right. It's not football related.
It's not.
I didn't see his question on mine here.
How do I get my jawline that sharp? It's not.
He said Deion Lewis or Derrick Henry for the price you pay for the Titans backfield. That's
Matt asked that?
No, Sherm Wow. Sherm Wow in the chat asked that. So let's discuss a little bit. Q, you can answer first because I know you're the Derrick Henry lover.
Derrick Henry, like Deion Lewis, is almost irrelevant with Derrick Henry in the backfield.
Yeah,
I need to pull up some Deion Lewis stats, but Derrick Henry he's worth the 4th, 5th, 6th pick.
Deion's not on the Titans.
Oh my God, who is it then? Well, why is he asking that?
Deion Lewis is on the Giants. Oh my God, is he trolling?
God,
he got us. Wow, I wouldn't even have known. That's crazy. Yeah, exactly. That's how relevant Deion Lewis is this year. It's going to be the Derrick Henry show.
Any no cap.
Any other questions in the chat here before we let Q go to his joke here?
Gator said Josh Jacob. Honest thoughts?
Gator, I did say Julio over MT. I guess you need to get your ears fixed.
Yeah, Julio over MT was pretty bad, Q.
Stop. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, Q. I don't know about that, dude.
Give us
Michael Thomas had like 150 catches last year.
Yeah, slants.
Yeah, PPR.
People know the slants now.
It's still a point for every catch.
I'm saying they're going to block the slants.
They're not blocking the slants.
You can't guard.
His name's Can't Guard Mike for a reason.
All right, we got to save this for the receiver episode.
We'll be talking receivers next week, guys. You guys can follow us on Instagram at SuperFB Podcast. You follow us on Twitter. Everything's in the link. Everybody follow us, follow along. We'll be live again next week at 7 o'clock sharp on Wednesday. Tune in. We'll be back. Other than that, Q, let's finish it off with your joke of the week.
All right. It's a good one. I don't know if it's better than last week. It's just because no one – but why can't you hear a pterodactyl go to the bathroom?
I don't know, Q. Why can't you hear it?
Do you know?
I don't know.
Because the P is silent.
Oh, that's bad.
Oh my God,
that's a bad one.
That one really hurt my soul. Like I felt like I lost a part of my brain listening to that joke.
Let me just go non-football related for 1 second. Flyers are about to close out tonight, and then Sixers and 6, and you can book it. No cap.
Sixers and 6.
You heard it here first, according to Mo Cheeks.
Yo, okay. All
right, guys. That's a wrap. We're out.